Emo, borrowed from Western culture, this term is used by Chinese youth to describe feeling emotional, down, moody, or negative. In 80s American pop culture, is associated with goths or gothics who are considered overly emotional and hiding their sensitive personalities behind all those studs and leather. It's widely used in online conversations or social media posts when someone feels sad or melancholic. Emo is emotional. Unusual. Emos are oftentimes artistically inclined, but not necessarily so. One of the things that drives their emotionality is the fact that they're trying to figure out how they fit into the world at large and are having a hard time doing so. They don't really see themselves as an integral part of contributing society. In fact, I would go so far as to say the band The Misfits was a band of emos. Emos are misfits. They don't see themselves as fitting in. Perhaps those that were once emos are now defining themselves as Sigma personalities. I never considered myself an emo, though I have a brother who did identify as an emo and a goth in the 80s. I think I definitely fit the description now of being a Sigma male. I definitely don't see myself as really believing in society, believing in how society is. I think society is full of themselves, frankly. I just don't really buy into the whole get married and have kids and do things normally philosophy. I just don't think it works. I have quite a number of friends who opted not to have children. The estimates are that we will have 10 billion people on the planet by the year 2050, and I suspect we may even surpass that. Personally, I have no interest in colonizing Mars. Northern California is too cold for me. I'm sure that's one of the large reasons I aspire to be a YouTuber and do what I do here on YouTube. It's not the normal beaten path, and more people are doing it, so it's becoming more and more the norm. I suppose it's just like slang. Slang language starts out as an alternative way of putting things, and then it grows and becomes popular. Everything that becomes popular starts out as underground. So being an emo is no exception. Anyway, emos oftentimes don't think they're deserving of love, so they get piercings around their lips and all that kind of thing just to reject it. They've sort of adopted the stance of, well, if I'm not lovable, then I'm not going to be lovable, and I'm not going to look for love because I don't think love was meant for me. So screw you, love. And feeling as though you don't deserve love, don't get love, will never get love. God has seen fit to make you not deserving of love. That would make anybody emotional. So yeah, that's the by and large definition of an emo. Emos will, of course, be children that weren't wanted. Oftentimes, LGBTQ, transgenders, all those folks, they want to change themselves because they don't feel like they fit in as they are. But really, the bottom line is it's the personality that has developed in the human that causes them to not fit in. That may or may not be a product of one or both of the parents, or they may be adoptees, or they may be orphans and not have any parents and therefore feel ostracized. But oftentimes it's a matter of one's own psyche. They may come from a loving home. They may have loving parents and just don't want that life, and these things happen. Sometimes the issue is simply the children don't want to accept their parents' plan for their lives and legacy, specifically having children and, being part of the family and carrying on the legacy of family. Rather, the children want to spend at least the first 20 years of their adult life pursuing their own goals and being themselves, especially after being under their parents' control for 20 years or so for many. It's perfectly understandable to me that they'd want to spread their wings and fly and be the captain of their own ship, at least for a while, and not have a spouse running their lives for them either. And so they feel ostracized. And as a result, their parents don't understand them and they don't feel like they're loved. That's a really common scenario, especially in the modern era. Whatever the modern era is, I suppose every era of teenagers thinks that's the modern era. Personally, I kind of think this is the modern era, meaning my era is the modern era. But Every generation thinks the same thing. Emo point of view, valid and validated.